Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. The meeting will be starting shortly. While we wait, let's learn more about Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast channels 98 and 22. Channel 98 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 13, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.
And there we see myself there.
There we go.
All right. Hey,
You guys need some light? Oh, got.
we got things started.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're good in the dark, honestly. It's nice and nice
We're,
and soothing.
I'm Doug.
Hi, Doug. I was just going to introduce myself to everybody. I mean, we've got a person from the public here. So my name is Jay Myers. I'm the chair of the Heritage Commission. And
Maura Fay, member of the Heritage Commission.
And Bill Campbell, member of the Heritage Commission.
all right, Bill and Maura. And then I want to recognize John Merkel, who is virtual.
Oh,
John
John.
Merkel, Heritage Commission.
hi, John.
Hi, John. We're kicking the tires as it is with this hybrid model. So thank you for joining us virtually. We have one.
Yeah, I just wanted to see if this was going to work.
Yeah. Now, we recognize we need to have a quorum present in person. Do the 3-member panel that we have currently represent a quorum in your, would you say? Or do we need 4?
How many member board is it?
We have 7.
We have 7, so I think we would need 4.
Thanks.
You
Yeah.
have to have a majority.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, he doesn't count.
Right. So what's the guidance then in this situation? We were expecting our 4th, but not heard from.
Do we have other people that are presenting the case, their cases here?
That's later on this month, so this is a regular Heritage Commission meeting.
Oh, so this is just a regular meeting?
Yeah.
There's no cases that you're going to decide on anything?
No.
That's August 31st.
Okay.
And it doesn't look like we're going to decide that much anyway, as far as decisions.
Well, I
We
think
can
you
have a
can-
discussion.
I think you could have a discussion
Right.
about stuff, provided that we're not voting on case up or down.
Yeah.
But you can certainly talk amongst the 4 of you.
So I guess we postpone the approval of the minutes.
Would you mind talking in the mic, Doug?
Yeah.
If you're top here?
I would say we postpone the minutes for a meeting then.
Yeah, then we'd have to wait on the minutes.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So yeah, our agenda just, which was posted, we were going to lead off with the approval of minutes, but without a quorum, we will postpone that approval till next meeting. What we can then move on to is the discussion of the neighborhood heritage area. And look forward to Maura's report from her work.
Okay. So as I reported out in June, we had pretty much completed the neighborhood survey as it was. We had a couple more responses come in after that. But based on our last meeting, we had talked about the idea of moving forward with a much smaller section of town. So I included in our packet today an outlined area on a street map. Let's see if I show this. Does that show up for anybody online?
Was that in the?
There would be. Okay.
And so at our last discussion, the streets where the respondents were about 75% in favor of sort of regulations around demolition were Forests, Oak, and some sections of Park Street. So I proposed at that point that we move forward with creating this smaller area as an initial heritage area. And I sent an email back out to the neighborhood list that I had originally sent the survey out to, just explaining kind of that decision from our level and then including some of the language from the Division of Historical Resources, because they provide a model, sort of draft for the creation of the regulations around demolition. So I included that language in the email so that everybody can take a look at kind of what theoretically we could be moving forward with. And I guess I'll read that into the record just so we kind of have that.
Yeah, thank you.
So the proposal would say, or would hopefully say, that it would regulate demolition, partial demolition, or removal of buildings and structures, and that will be considered only under the following circumstances. 1, the applicant for a demolition permit shall demonstrate that reasonably feasible alternatives to demolition have been considered. Alternatives shall include renovation or adaptive reuse of an existing building. Or 2, the applicant can demonstrate that retaining the resource would constitute economic hardship due to unavoidable, quantifiable, and verifiable expenditures, or a fiscal loss that would ensue should the resource not be demolished. Or 3, the building or structure has been determined structurally unsound based upon a written technical report prepared by an architect or professional engineer registered in the state of New Hampshire that clearly demonstrates that the building or structure presents a risk to public health, safety, and welfare, and the structurally unsound condition has not been caused by willful or negligent acts by the owner or failure to perform normal maintenance. So those are the, I think, pretty flexible guidelines that would allow demolition in certain circumstances if it can be shown that there would be a financial hardship to the individual if they couldn't, that they've looked at other alternatives and none of them were feasible, or that the building has been determined structurally unsound. So I feel like it does give quite a lot of leeway to still allow demolition in circumstances that warrant it, but would allow us to have that power to say no to a demolition of a sound building, one that was in good shape, and one that might be just considered for demolition simply because somebody wanted to, there's a number of multifamily houses that are 2 units. If somebody wanted to tear one down and build up a bigger one that would, sell for a higher price, that's currently allowed. And so what we would lose, though, would be, of course, the historic nature of the original structure. So this allows homeowners the flexibility to tear something down if it is truly unsound or it is truly too far past repair to be restructured, but at the same time allow us to not lose these resources. So at this point, we haven't moved any further. I was just wanting to check back in with the commission to sort of see where we wanted to go. My hope would be that we could pull together a draft proposal that just includes this language. There were a couple of other elements that people seemed to also be in favor of around new construction, which would be that they be appropriate to the size and scale of surrounding buildings as well as the lot. And so once we have those other couple of elements drafted, ideally what I'd like to do is send that draft out by mail to everybody in the proposed area with an invitation to comment, to respond, to indicate kind of their willingness to be involved or not before we then move on to talking with the planning board.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for putting all this work in. And you might have said this at the outset and I missed it. What you did in terms of the mapping was based on survey results that we reviewed last meeting.
Yes.
Right?
So in June, I did prepare those full survey results. The survey was pretty extensive, and I knew that there were a lot of elements that would probably be too structured, restrictive, that people were not going to be in favor of. But because it's an element that the Division of Historical Resources sort of allows, I wanted to see what kind of interest there was in any of those.
Yeah.
As I suspected, there wasn't much, but that was good to have confirmed. And there was some interest in ensuring that properties are not demolished.
Yeah, and though we didn't review last meeting's minutes, I was prepared to do that, and I know this was an action item moving forward. So, I mean, you've carried out this work from the point of the survey and having distilled that information down to what we're seeing today in the direction that the survey led you. You might have said this too in the outset, and I can see a list of names here, but how many people were on the committee, the neighborhood committee. I mean,
I want to say 7 or 8 folks were involved in drafting the survey and discussing the direction of the survey. And then this was emailed out to all of the emails I had access to. There's a couple of folks who are maintaining neighborhood email lists for just communication amongst neighbors. So
yeah.
I used that, and I think it was passed along to a couple of other folks who weren't on the list.
And this was not too long ago. I'm seeing a date, July 27.
Yes, July 27th.
That the group received, and you got feedback from them, and what you're presenting now is based on that feedback, or was this the same thing they
This was
received?
the same thing that they received on the 27th.
Has the committee met since then, or what is the?
No, we haven't met since then. I felt like I would rather come back to the commission as a whole and talk about next steps and what made the most sense before we committed any more time to it.
Okay.
Mara, when you draw a yellow line between 2 houses or 2 lots, the one on the inside is considered part of the group, part of the area, but the one on the outside is not, I take it.
Yes, and I did my best with the yellow line. It was a little, sort of last minute. I was just trying to give a sense of what that area would look like. So houses facing, houses considered to be on Oak Street, on Park, on Forest. It's a little tricky because some of the corner lots face a different angle and so aren't technically on Oak or Forest. I believe I got it pretty close to right.
Right, okay.
So in the last meeting, we were visited by the property owner, I think 25 Park Street. And he expressed not wanting to be in the surveyed area.
Yep.
And what I was going to share today, I guess my next question is, were there those on the that had expressed interest? Did you get verbal expression of interest that they didn't want to be here, or is this the proposal based on the survey results? Did anybody expressively say, I don't want to be part of the?
Yeah, so there were a couple of folks who worked on the survey on Park Street who both indicated that they did not want to be involved. And so that's the reason for the current length of Park Street.
Okay.
What it does do is keep some of the oldest houses that are in the neighborhood that are surrounding the park and just a little bit farther down Park, which are really the properties that I'm most concerned about. These are properties where the homes date to the early to mid 1700s. And, with the way that property changes hands, they're currently being well cared for, and people who are very interested in historic preservation are taking great care of these homes. But, people do move, and we do want to make sure that some protection is in place.
Yeah, so that's sort of the obvious constriction here that we see: Green, Cass, Park. And then what I was going to share with the group, and this was just received yesterday, the property owner of 37 Park Street, which is at the corner of Summer and Park, which is the Gideon Tavern. He wishes to not be included in the neighborhood heritage area. So in reading the last minutes, obviously one of the action items there was for me to reach out to this individual. So it was just serendipitous that I received this letter, or we received this letter. And so in some way he wasn't on the original mailing, but in some way learned of this, which was good for him to be informed that way. So I did reach out this letter by note to ask a little bit more detail of his decision, and I did that by phone, and I left a message. I was unable to reach him, so I'm hoping that he might call back. Obviously, it's a historic site.
Yes, it is. And obviously, he's taken a great deal of care in renovating that,
it's a beautiful
that
property, right.
over the last.
Really done a job.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So, and if that's, I guess what I will say is, I'd like to mail out the proposed language to everybody.
Yeah.
So everybody can see in black and white what it would actually look like. And then say, just let us know yay or nay before we move any further.
And this brings up a question for me about, sort of the opt-in, opt-out process. And there were some questions during our open panels about that. And I guess I need reminded, if somebody opts out, does that leave them out permanently? Or is there a way to opt in? Let's say we've constricted this, sort of dealing with hypotheticals here. Let's say we continue to move forward, and this is the way the district is drawn, or the area is drawn, I should say. And then others find favor in it over time and then want to come back in. Is that possible? Maybe John Merkel, if you have any input here.
I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
I think that could be taken care of in the drafting of the rules around how the administrative board would work.
Yeah.
And so I would guess that there would be a way to draft something that says if a property owner were to be interested in being included at a later date, the Neighborhood Heritage Area Board could, take that into consideration and vote on it.
I would want that to be something like that, especially if they're adjacent to the area we finally decide on. New person moving into a house who has a very strong interest in that would. I don't know whether that would. I'd let the board take it up. I've been thinking some of the houses that are not in there. It would be hard to include if they're sort of several houses away. But yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody else, people do sell and change their minds. So that's good. It's great progress so far, and I think I'd agree that if you could now circulate that,
Yeah, I would think so too. Do we keep this as part of the discussion and wait till our next meeting till we have a full voice of the commission?
Yeah,
I think we would
that's probably wise until we can all kind of weigh in on it.
Yeah, but I think this is some great work, difficult work, but really good progress. One question I have for everyone, and this is sort of a reminder to me, we have the Neighborhood Heritage Area Advisory Board. Is there a point in time is there leadership coming from that? Are there members of that advisory board that are interested in taking this forward to the Planning Commission? I mean, they're the ones that are leading this process. We're informing and guiding and sort of partnering, but it's really if my understanding, it's this group that is going to take this to the board or the planning board for further, to take it up as part of the process.
Yeah, I think there are one or two who would be interested. What I'd actually like to do is just put it out to the entire area now that we've sort of got a semi-defined boundary, and indicate what the model language is that we would like to work with, and say could we have a couple of volunteers who would like to be working on this as a sort of more official board. I think the group that we had working on the survey, I feel like we had a pretty specific task: create a survey, get some input, and decide what to do next. And so what I'd like to do is sort of now shift that focus and say, whoever has been involved, absolutely still be involved if you'd like, but also open it up to folks who might now be interested, who maybe weren't initially when the job was a little different.
Yeah. Okay.
How do these conditions that you've described here jive with the zoning ZBA's regulations about the things that the Heritage Commission looks at, for example? Serving on that too, it sounds pretty similar, but I'm not Sure.
I would, honestly, I don't know that, because the zoning would only come into, what portion of the lot can be covered, what the setbacks are, and how it's zoned R1, R2, and anything like that. So I'm not sure how much this would interact with the zoning regulations as they exist, other than to sort of expand upon them to create a little bit more
Okay.
restriction, honestly, around
Right.
being able to tear something down.
Well, I guess we need to move go ahead and do what you suggested, but really can't make too many decisions until next meeting.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else on that? John, do you have anything from your perspective there?
No, I apologize. We were away for 6 weeks, and I wasn't able to be a participant. I apologize for that. I don't have a copy of what is actually being proposed right now. Is there a way to get that? Is it posted anywhere, or?
Yeah, John, I had just sent it yesterday to Barb and Kathy to make a copy for us today. I didn't realize you weren't going to be on site, so I can forward you those documents. They were in an email that I sent to Kathy and Jay yesterday. We have a paper copy here, but that's not much help to you right now.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I have house guests, and that's why I elected to do this. And I was kind of curious. I wasn't aware that I couldn't participate in this meeting on a voting basis. I apologize for that. I will be there on the 31st in person.
All right. We'll get you a copy of that. We can just send it out to everybody by email, right? Or do we need to put that in the public?
John, you'll know this. If we want to send a document out to the commission as a whole, does that need to go through Barb or Kathy, or can I do that directly?
I don't think so. We're not making any decision on it. I was a participant directly, when you were starting this process. So I would think that I would still be included.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure I'm following protocol.
Okay.
All right, we'll move on to the next agenda item, which was just an update on any recent demolition applications. I was going to share with everyone, because some of us attended a few site visits and others were unable. So 32 Charter Street was a demo application. I don't know, I forgot the date of it. It was late June, perhaps early July, and that was advised to move forward with. Same thing for 12 Center Street, which was a garage on the UCC Church property by what is then the church office, but soon to be the parsonage again. And then the last was 10 Wadley Street, which is in the corner of Wadley and Forest, and the review committee decided to pause that for 30 days, and that public hearing is scheduled for August 31st at 7 o'clock, I believe. And so it will be a hybrid model, much like this in terms of attendance. So this was kind of a good process to go through to get used to this setup and invite the public to voice their thoughts about that property. Incidentally, that is in the boundaries of the neighborhood heritage area. So it may be a bit of a litmus test for us in navigating some of what we've just discussed and are moving forward with in a proposal. So, any questions about those three demo reviews?
Not a question. I guess I just wanted to add a comment. I know from the survey, when reading through some of the comments and responses, some of the comments had concerns about whether a neighborhood heritage area designation would then be such that it would kind of limit people from home ownership or make home ownership more onerous or in any way kind of, worsen the barriers that some folks experience in trying to purchase a home. And I do appreciate those concerns. I think those are really important things to consider. I think from my perspective, this feels like it would be a protective element rather than something that would actually create more barriers, because my concern is what we're seeing with 10 Wadley. It's a modest home. It could have been sold at a relatively affordable price to someone looking to purchase a family home. And instead what's happened is it's been purchased by a developer who is proposing to tear it down and build a much larger home on the same lot, which will not obviously be as affordable to somebody. So one of my concerns around wanting to maintain the existing properties is that so many of them are of a modest size, are more affordable for people who maybe are hoping to buy their first homes. And I do want to say that I really value the idea that this is why this neighborhood is attractive and appealing. And I would hate to see more and more homes get torn down and rebuilt in such a way that people get priced out of the neighborhood. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm sort of taking what you said there and pulling the last two bullet items together. I mean, what you've outlined in terms of, or what the advisory board for the Neighborhood Heritage District pulled together in terms of language around that. I think it's I think this is a good sort of test of that language, or to kind of work with that language, maybe in mind. Not that anything's been adopted, but our open meeting on the 31st will help us. Will give us a lot of information, I think, in terms of the process.
Mm-hmm.
Though. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Any other comments or discussions around the recent demolition applications? I left room on the agenda for, and hadn't done this in the past, but to just formally give our members from the Select Board and the Planning Commission and the Historic District an opportunity to share with the Heritage Commission what's been going on in those respective areas. And at this case, none of those folks are here today. So
Okay.
as it turns out.
Takes care of that agenda item.
Takes care of that bullet item. In the past, we've had some reports about the Black Heritage Pocket Park and more. I think there was one event that...
Yes, there were actually two events.
Okay.
So there was one event on June 19th that was pretty well attended. I think it was a pretty great success. If I from my perspective, I was down there for a couple of hours. Renee had set up sort of draft, if you will, of a park. There were a couple of benches in place, some artwork, some kind of historical notes about some of, what we do know about some of Exeter's Black residents around the Revolutionary War time. It got quite a bit of traffic. A lot of people walked through, read the information about the proposal. And Renee had just compiled a list of all of the comments and sent that out to us so that we could read them. And overall, everybody was very much in favor of the idea, liked it as a concept, liked learning more about Exeter's Black history, and thought it would be a wonderful asset. So I know that there's not any move forward at this point because of the Swayze Parkway decision around closure, not closure to cars, and some other elements with the Select Board. But Renee reported that she was going to be appearing in front of the Select Board again in the fall sometime.
Outstanding.
Oh, and she also, sorry, I forgot, there was also an info table at the National Night Out event just last week or 2 weeks ago.
Oh, I missed that.
So that was another little kind of publicity option.
I was there at the night out, but I missed the display.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance
All
to
right.
go down that night, so I'm not sure where it was set up.
I asked this before, and since you've been in communication with Renee or some interaction there, is there anything that the Heritage Commission can do in the process, or we, I guess until September, or until things become more formal, September being when Renee presents at the Select Board, or until things change in this traffic pattern of Swayze Parkway. I mean,
I don't know for sure. It might be helpful if she had a statement from us as a commission saying that we're in favor of this as a concept, and that, you know, we could put whatever reasons we feel make sense to us. But when she goes to the select board, it might be helpful for her to have kind of something in writing from us.
okay, that's a great suggestion. That's something we could draft up
For the next meeting.
at the next
Yeah,
meeting.
yeah,
I'm sure we'll get a quorum next meeting,
Yeah,
back in September.
yeah.
Life is,
yes, and
yeah.
for sure. Excellent. The last bullet item was remaining from the previous meeting, and this is related to the Section 106 request for comment on the Newfields Road culvert replacement, and I just exchanged an email with the individual, and I forget who it was, but I exchanged one email letting him know that we had this on our radar, but at this point nothing has moved forward, and I haven't seen any change in that area of Newfields Road to lead me to believe that they've already moved forward with the project. So,
Which culvert is that, Jim?
my understanding, there's a stormwater culvert on the other side of the 101 bridge, sort of as you're going down, and then around the bend, heading up.
Here at the bottom.
Yeah, they're at the bottom. They're replacing a culvert pipe. They notified us for reasons that I'm not fully aware of, but it sounded as though there wasn't much that we would there is much that we would change in terms of the project idea. I mean, there's
It'll
some.
be a state project.
Yeah, I think that's why we get the Section 106 request, is because it's a state project.
Yeah.
Is that down sort of before you get to Rains Farm?
Yeah.
That Harrington Farm down at the bottom of their hill?
I think so.
Harrington's on the right. And there's
Well,
been
Captain's Way, there's like two
Yeah, that's before.
on the left.
It comes up then to Captain's Way.
Right,
Okay.
right. That's sort of in that low process. There's,
Right. I haven't seen any activity out there, but,
yeah.
and I guess if they were concerned whether there was any historical stuff, I don't think so.
Yeah, and
I
it
don't
just,
either.
Not sure that was,
in past meetings, there wasn't anybody that thought that they had any sort of a hair.
no revolutionary battles there or anything
No.
like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Not that we know of.
That we know of, right, could have been. All right.
All right, is there any other business not listed on the agenda that we need to take care of?
I don't think so.
All right. Do I, at this point, motion to adjourn? We don't have a quorum.
We don't have a quorum.
So we can't
we
really.
Can't vote to adjourn.
We just adjourned.
We just
will-
say
Therefore, we will
so
just
long.
adjourn. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, thanks.
Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast channels 98 and 22. Channel 98 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 13, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.